Hi everyone. It's been a hot minute. It's it's been a hot minute. Like, what was the last video I uploaded to my channel? Wasn't it like I'm pretty sure it was the Resident Evil 4. Oh yeah, the Resident Evil 4 S Plus stuff. Yeah, I think I had a couple videos that I've wanted to do since then and just kind of ended up not doing it, mostly because I just got caught up with this stuff, or like I had like I think a God of War review where it was just face to face like this, just kind of chilling, having a good time, and I forgot to adjust my settings and none of my audio recorded, and I wasn't about to sit there for like another hour and a half, 2 hours, just because I went off on that game. And the same thing with Tears of the Kingdom. I had like an angry rant actually. And yeah, but I made sure to double check and make sure that my audio is working this time. So, um, but yeah, anyways, um, since I'm not about to go do those little reviews that I mentioned again, God of War Ragnarok, fantastic, 10 out of 10. Tears of the Kingdom, I personally have a love-hate relationship with it. There are things that I like, and then there's a bunch of things that I dislike. Um, but I think overall I don't like it. Like it feels overall, in my opinion, like like I said, it's a mixed bag. Like God of War Ragnarok was just better than the previous God of War, like in every aspect. But Tears of the Kingdom, for me, there was a couple things that I think they improved on, like the exploration with the Zonai devices, which was interesting. But then the story, in my opinion, just wasn't that good, and just like the sage abilities and some of the boss fights were all the boss fights were pretty easy in my opinion. Like it was, like there was no, it was just lackluster to me. Like I think Tears of the Kingdom, in my opinion, is the worst Zelda game to date overall. Like like it was one of those Zeldas where as soon as I'm getting into it, there's something else that's bothering me. And like I said, I can do like a whole hour long rant of all the issues that I have with it, literally. But that's not what this video is about. But just kind of wanted to briefly address those two things since I tried to make videos about them previously and it didn't happen. But now let's get to the actual point of it, since I've already wasted like 3 minutes. but but no, in all seriousness, um, those of you that could tell by the title of this video, um, and a lot of you probably already saw the video question about the reference, but MattPat is going to be leaving YouTube soon, and I personally wanted to, and I saw the video yesterday, and I decided today, actually I just decided in the spur of the moment just a little bit ago that I wanted to make this. MattPat will probably never see it, but if you do, God bless you, and hope you stick around for this. Um, but like we're all gonna miss you, and I'm gonna miss you, MattPat. Like I like honestly, I can't remember exactly when I started watching Game Theory, but but I believe I was in my teen years. I think it was like late middle school, maybe early high school. Like I was a teenager for sure, or I was either, or maybe at a push of very late adolescence. But I have been watching game theory off and on for a good decade, since I'm going to be 25 um in a few days. Um so it's I have been like yeah, it's been a good decade at least since I have been a part of game theory off and on. And I will admit, I was a bit of a casual fan. There was a lot of videos that I would skip over just because I didn't have an inherent interest in them, like just like the topics or the games covered. Like I'm gonna be transparent. I wasn't exactly one of those fans that would just sit there and watch every single thing. But what I did watch, I thoroughly enjoyed. From Gaijin Goomba's Culture Shock, which I think was one of my first introductions to game theory, his Majora's Mask and the Moon Child. and just stuff like that, and Super Mario Brothers stuff, and then of course the good old FNAF, fucking FNAF, man. And and honestly, his FNAF series is mainly, and my honestly, why I've stayed and kept coming back, because I will admit most of the other content I wasn't that in. And you know what, all of us have our own preferences on content we like to watch, and most of us obviously aren't just going to sit there and watch something we're not into, like, eh, you know what I mean? Like, maybe that makes me an asshole, I don't know, and maybe to a certain extent that's true. um but there was a lot of content that I missed, but I would always come back for FNAF. And it would always bring a smile on my face, hearing him, "Welcome, Internet, welcome to Game Theory." And it would always bring a smile to my face. And just the energy that he has, and just like, it was like a treat. Like, the best way I can describe it, coming back when I would do these long hiatuses or whatever, waiting for the next FNAF video more than anything. And then I would come in here or there and maybe watch some film theories, a couple film theory videos that I watched. Um, but it became, I will 100% own up and say, it turned into more of a FNAF thing. I came for FNAF. That was what I was here. And by God, did MattPat deliver. Like, just his delivery, his energy, and everything. I mean, I know he has a team in the background that helps him and probably script some of his stuff and do their own digging, which I will give credit where credit is due. Kudos to all of you. Phenomenal work. And without you, those videos probably wouldn't be as good as they are. Like, no, not trying to discredit anything that you guys have done whatsoever. Gotta get that straight right now. But at least for me, I can't deny that I always came for MattPat. I always have. And and it's just so sad. Like, it's one of those things where, like, this might be bad to say, but for me personally, it's like the channel's dead now, in a sense, because, like, that's all I've known is MattPat, and like his FNAF, and a lot of and obviously some other good stuff here and there that I would sprinkle in and watch, but it's just like, to me, MattPat is game theory, and I'm sure a lot of us probably agree with that. And I don't know how I'm gonna be able to cope, in a sense, watching the channel without MattPat. And like he said in his goodbye internet video, he's still gonna try and work behind the scenes. He's probably gonna make some cameos and do stuff, which, thank God. At least he's not, at least from my understanding and what I interpreted from the video, he's not gonna be gone. He's just gonna be more in the background, so he can, like, spend more time with his family and whatnot. Which I understand, like, with the way he explains it in his video, like, over a decade of just work for first, and I understand that at some point you just family first, and good for you, MattPat. Like, no one in their right mind is gonna judge you, but it does hurt, in a sense, if that makes any sense. And and like I said, we're all gonna miss you. And I personally don't know if I'm gonna be able to watch Game Theory once you make that transition on, I believe, March 9th. It was that final thing. I don't know. Like, it's not gonna be the same. I'm not, it's going to be so different knowing that if I ever decide to jump in randomly, like I've been doing throughout the decade, knowing that I'm not going to be able to hear the same good old, "Hey, Internet, welcome to Game Theory." And just, it's just going to be, I mean, yeah, we're probably going to hear that because that's just kind of part of the channel, but it's not going to, it's not him, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I just wanted to make this video to kind of just express my feelings on it, you know. And I'm sure a lot of us, to some extent, with maybe some differences here or there, of course, because everyone's different. But I feel like these sentiments that I'm saying are probably something that we all feel, where in a sense, again, at least for me, there's probably other people that are nowhere near as, you know biased towards MattPat, I guess you could say, or only here for MattPat. You know, like there's probably a lot of other people out there that genuinely appreciate game theory as a whole and are like a little sad, but they're still on board, you know, the game theory train, and they're ready to accept the next batch theorist and whatnot. And kudos to you people. But I just personally, especially since, like I said, I'm more of a casual fan, I kind of jump in and out mostly for FNAF theories, and it's and that for me is personally, honestly, a super hard transition. I don't know if I can deal with, to be perfectly honest. And there's probably a lot of us here that feel the same way, and it really does feel like the death of a channel. And and, and as stupid as this sounds, it's a horrible start to the year for probably a lot of us. You know, like the year just started, and it's like already, you know, we're hearing, oh, in like 3 months we're losing one of YouTube's best, and it's like, ugh, really, the year just started. Like, I mean, better it to be a crap start and then end on a high note than the opposite. You know what I mean? But I would argue, but still, I don't know. It just sucks. But I think I've rambled on long enough because it's already like 11 minutes. But I just kind of wanted to share my feelings that, you know, for me and probably a lot of people that are similar to me, that probably share similar sentiments to some extent or another, it's it does genuinely feel like part of our childhood is gone. You know, it's like it's like you're being told that this one childhood thing that you could cling on to for, well for a good amount of your adult life, in my case, since I'm about to be 25. You know, it's like that one piece of your childhood that, you know, is still going strong. You know, MattPat and his game theories, well, regardless of if you're a little inconsistent with jumping in and watching stuff, you know, just it's like part of your childhood, part of what formed who you are as a person. Like, again, watching, you know, Gaijin Goomba in the early years, and all those early, you know, FNAF videos, and like some of the Super Mario videos and all of that stuff, you know what I mean? And then maybe the early film theories, you know, it's just like I said, it just it, it's like losing another piece of your childhood. And it's just, I'm sure, just as an adult, you have to live with that fairly frequently. You know, it's like as you grow older, you kind of accept that's part of the territory, but it doesn't make it any easier. And especially, you know, so it just sucks because there's always like a small piece of you that wants to cling on to something, you know, where you can have that childlike glee, you know. And game theory for me, you know, when I did pop in, was kind of like that for me. You know, oh, all of a sudden, you know, like I think I did a hiatus from game theory for about like 2 years or so, and I remember finally coming back to him, and there was like, you know, a number of FNAF videos, because I think I did a hiatus shortly after Sister Location came out in those early theories, and I think it was Security Breach that brought me back, and I just binged watched for like a day, like a good, I forget how many videos he made between then, but I want to say a good 10 or so. Again, I can't remember, but it was quite a bit. And just the glee that I had, that I could just sit down, just kick back, and yeah, I know my lighting's terrible. I should probably open my blind. Um, at least get some decent lighting. I am going to invest in a lighting setup at some point. Uh I have I have things that I'm trying to do. Um, but yeah, it's, you know, it was just so nice. Like, just being able to kick back and just binge watch those like in a playlist, and just hear the lore, hear the excitement, and all the different theories, and all this, you know, the culmination of all these things we talked about over the years, you know, as he starts piecing together all the puzzle pieces. And it was just so fascinating. And like he was one of YouTube's great educators, you know, like his use of math and everything, and just he was just, and he made learning and all of this and theorizing, like, he probably, for a lot of us, he helped make that fun. And It's just a damn shame. You know, especially with FNAF, because like at least for me personally, MattPat is synonymous with FNAF. Well, like like you can't have FNAF without MattPat in terms of theorizing. He's the only one I ever watched. I never bothered to go and branch out. And for me personally, especially in the early years, I wasn't into FNAF. I I didn't like the early games, probably because I was spoiled with Grand Theft Auto, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, and Spyro and Crash Bandicoot and a bunch of other games, that I grew up with when I was real little, like 5 years old, playing on the PS1 and Nintendo 64. Playing Enter the Matrix and Kingdom Hearts on PS2, and then I think by the time FNAF came out, I was in high school, so and the Xbox 360 was a thing. Um, and then I think about mid to late high school, the Xbox One, was also a thing. I think, could be wrong, but but anyway, a couple couple different console generations that I experienced and was spoiled by all these different types of games that just sitting down looking at cameras wasn't my thing. And I remember I took a shot at MattPat just watching one of his FNAF videos, and next thing you know, I'm enthralled with the lore. And I have never played a FNAF game to this day, but god damn it, do I love the lore. And I am intending at some point to read the books myself. Because it, honest to God, seems fascinating. And after watching Markiplier play Security Breach in Ruin, I honestly that is the first FNAF game that I'm going to play myself and buy. That actually has gameplay that I'm interested in. But again, like early FNAF, for example, like I said, like it was just MattPat. I never watched Markiplier play MattPat. I don't even think I was a fan of Markiplier at the time, to be perfectly honest with you. And same thing with like Jacksepticeye and probably a couple of the other great FNAF YouTubers. Like it was only MattPat. So in a weird way, it's also like I'm losing FNAF in a sense, or at least part of what made FNAF great to me was coming to the channel and being able to listen to MattPat as enthusiasm. What the fuck? Okay, enthusiasm and all that. Like that was, I mean, obviously, if the lore sucked, like no amount of enthusiasm for MattPat would have made it interesting. But you get the idea. Like it definitely helped. It was icing on the cake, so to speak. But again, when you get cake, you want the whole cake. You want the icing too. That's probably a weird analogy, but I think you guys get what I'm trying to say. It sucks. For people like me, and that it's like you're losing two things at once in a sense. Like you're losing, in a sense, you're losing MattPat, and then also in a sense you're also losing FNAF. I mean, you're not really, but I don't know how to explain this, but I hope there's at least some of you guys that. Oh, we're at like 18 and a half minutes. Okay, I'm like timer. Um, but yeah, I think I've over rambled. But so I think I'll just end it here. But I think you guys get the idea. Like, it's a damn shame. It's it's honestly in a way a horrible start to the year, if I'm gonna be perfectly honest. But but I get it, you know, and I'm not gonna judge or anything. MattPat, God bless you, and you've been amazing all these years. You were a big part of my childhood. If only for FNAF, admittedly, but still, always a pleasure. Always had a smile. Always was excited for the next FNAF theory, mostly because of you and your energy. It wouldn't have been the same if it was anyone else. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Like, and it's like I want to say more, but I don't. But I also don't know what to say. In that weird conundrum where you're feeling a lot of feelings, but the words are escaping you. It's But like I said, I think that'll do it. But again, MattPat, if you ever see this, probably won't, because how small I am. But if you ever do, God bless you. You will be missed. I personally don't know if I can ever watch Game Theory without you. I mean, I'm definitely gonna give it a go because I know that's what you would want, and like I said, you're a big part of my like teenage years and whatnot. So I'm gonna give it a go, but I'm not gonna promise anything because, like I said, it's so different, and that's just again, I think I explained it enough, but I'm gonna give it a go. And again, thank you, MattPat, like for everything you've done, and and you honestly do deserve a break. And I'm just glad that you're going to be helping with the channel, even if it is only in the background and doing other things, and you're not going to be on the screen except for once in a blue moon. Um, but it is nice. Um, I would like to see you in FNAF 2 and have like an actual prominent role. That would be great. but anyway, just you take care of yourself. Hope you'll be able to spend more time with your family, and hope everything gets better for you. And we're all gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you. A lot of the fandom's gonna miss you, and it's gonna be different for all of us. And I can't speak for the other fandom, but like I said, for myself, it's gonna be different. I don't know how I'm gonna cope, but god damn it, we're gonna try. And I guess the last thing I can say in honor of MattPat, that's just a theory, a game theory. Thanks for watching. God bless you, MattPat.